First off, let me take a moment to express our solidarity with the people of Japan with regard to the 7.5 magnitude earthquake that struck off the northeastern coast just last night. Now, tsunami warnings, of course, since been issued, and while we don't know what exactly may lie ahead, it is indeed our sincere, our earnest hope that the worst is over, and we pray for the safety and well-being of the people of Japan. On that note, let me express a warm welcome to the annual Japan-ASEAN roundtable, for which Malaysia is greatly honored to co-organize with the Embassy of Japan. Now, this roundtable comes at a crucial juncture in Japan-ASEAN ties. To my mind, in geopolitics as in geo-economic relations, no point in its trajectory could really be considered as quote-unquote non-crucial. So unless we are dealing, of course, with a phase which is merely passive and static. And that certainly is not the case with Japan-ASEAN relations. Juxtaposing geopolitics with economic dynamics, we witness the shifting tides of foreign direct investment even as maritime security cooperation is enhanced under an overarching concern for stability for the region as a whole. The semantics in play is rather telling. While there is often talk of ensuring quote-unquote strategic autonomy for ASEAN member states, the subtext remains in the shade. And that invariably is about a countervailing strategy against rising Chinese influence. Perhaps herein lies that significance to the attribution of a crucial juncture. Certainly, the leadership change in Tokyo has been momentous in that Japan finally has her first female Prime Minister, Sanae Takaichi. But the fact that she is a woman is really quite irrelevant, particularly in the context of the view that in such a short time in office, she has already affected a major shift in Japan-China relations. Nevertheless, from our perspective as ASEAN, Prime Minister Takaichi has already demonstrated a positive posture, which foreshadows a pragmatic approach towards multilateralism and continued links with the region. For example, demonstrating clearly Japan's commitment to ASEAN processes, Prime Minister Takaichi saw it fit to attend the 47th ASEAN Summit in Kuala Lumpur. In fact, just a few days after assuming office. Furthermore, this underscores Tokyo's continuous role building efforts in the region, building on the 2023 new plan for a free and open Indo-Pacific. This brings us, of course, to the first focus of our discussions today, where we find congruence between the free and open Indo-Pacific and the ASEAN outlook on the Indo-Pacific. Nevertheless, a reality check is in order. While it is true that AOIP resonates with the core principles of FOIP, including, of course, the rule of law, freedom of navigation, free and open trade, respect for diversity, and ASEAN centrality, much more still needs to be done in order to secure tangible and sustainable outcomes. Speaking of centrality, while there's no gainsaying that the AOIP demonstrates how ASEAN intends to engage the wider Indo-Pacific on its own terms, it must also be driven by a reinvigorated sense of ASEAN centrality. Failing this, we may end up falling into the proverbial adage that while the spirit is willing, the flesh is weak. I say this not out of cynicism, but a genuine concern that over the years, ASEAN centrality is fast losing its substance, even though its relevancy remains undiluted. And all the more so in the context of our deliberations today, in trying to see the convergence of the integral pillars of the AOIP with the FOIP. As I have canvassed before on previous occasions, if centrality is to be regarded as the very bastion against the conflict of strategic interests of the major powers, then the crucial role of centrality may be circumscribed by the principles of intent and initiative to engage, openness to experience, and effective use of ASEAN-led mechanisms to drive the region's socialization. Which is why it bears stressing that the AOIP is now embedded in the strategic goals of the ASEAN Community Vision 2045 across all three pillars. This means that its strategic value has been enhanced tremendously, thus positively impacting engagement, especially with our partners and stakeholders. In this regard, it must be said that there has been some strategic foresight in the formulation of the new plan for the FOIP, which focuses on connecting our regions and the delivery of public goods. This manifests an unrelenting commitment in promoting a rules-based order, particularly significant at a time when such a dispensation is being violated with impunity. I believe we need to seize the opportunity to utilize existing frameworks more effectively, such as the ASEAN Plus 3. We should also explore further synergies, such as tapping on Japan's efforts in working with mechanisms such as BIMSTEC to drive regional integration and interconnectedness. Esteemed colleagues, this year has been significant not only for Malaysia, but ASEAN as well. Malaysia went all out to ensure that ASEAN collectively worked towards advancing our partnerships in true and fervent recognition of the theme of inclusivity and sustainability. Timor-Leste's formal accession in October during Malaysia's chairmanship is, of course, a clear statement to our steadfast commitment and a clear evidence that the commitment is to a more inclusive ASEAN. Now, whenever I'm asked what Timor-Leste could offer to ASEAN, my reply has invariably been, ask not Timor-Leste can do for ASEAN, ask what ASEAN can do for Timor-Leste. There is also further demonstration of commitment to holistic partnerships during Malaysia's chair of ASEAN with the hosting of the 5th Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Summit. Well, the famous RCEP, the well-known largest FTA in the world. Now, this was crucial for injecting new momentum into RCEP's implementation, not to mention setting the right tone for future ASEAN chairs in emulating Malaysia's commendable initiative. In this regard, it is most apt that in the second panel session, we will be reflecting on Malaysia's ASEAN chairmanship. A conscious process of strategic recalibration has been warranted in working with ASEAN dialogue partners. Perspectives from a valued dialogue partner such as Japan would undoubtedly inject greater dynamics into the discourse, not to mention offering fresh ideas on improving ASEAN processes and external relations. Esteemed colleagues, the interplay between geopolitics and geoeconomics will be a constant in the evolving dynamics of Japan-ASEAN relations. How will the drift and flow of changing times impact the balance between the two paradigms so as to foster not just a truly free and open Indo-Pacific, but one that is vibrant and prosperous? That indeed is the question. In the final analysis, an objective assessment of the future state of play of Japan-ASEAN relations must factor in what may be considered as the very essence of a long-standing strategic relationship, and that is none other than mutual trust. This heart-to-heart notion saw its genesis with the formulation of Japan's foundational post-war foreign policy for the region, encapsulated in what we all know now as the Fukuda Doctrine. Hence, in the face of growing challenges from across the board, will this mutual trust that subsists in the partnership continue to endure and grow in strength? Or will it suffer the onslaught of and succumb to the forces of division and strife? To answer these questions more deeply, more substantively, another forum, another time perhaps. But for now, suffice it to say that I am prepared to err on the side of optimism than undue concern and apprehension. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to the Embassy of Japan in Malaysia. Excellency Shikata, we thank you and your team for the fantastic work and support extended to us in hosting this roundtable. To the role players, thank you for your vital role here today. Without a doubt, you will greatly enrich our conversations and provide excellent takeaways for the way forward in Japan-ASEAN relations. Congratulations to the ISIS Malaysia team for yet another tremendous achievement in bringing their efforts to fruition, and my profound appreciation to all our attendees today. I wish you all a productive discussion. Thank you. Terima kasih. Arigatou gozaimasu.